We are about to convert our VW transporter into a camper van, so we have come to the NEC Motorhome and Caravan Show to get some ideas and inspiration.
There's a few things that we want to look out for while we're here. We want to get some ideas on bed layout and seating options. We want to see some clever storage ideas, how you can hide a toilet in such a small space, and also just some general inspiration on style and all those sorts of things. We've got a rough plan of who we want to visit while we're here. We've got a list of exhibitors, so thank you very much for all of your recommendations on our previous videos. We are super excited to speak to the experts about van conversion.
We were at the show mainly for ideas and inspiration, so we won't be going into detail on things like prices, specs and models.
Now, the NEC show is absolutely huge, spanning 21 acres with over 1,000 vehicles on display and more than 350 exhibitors. We were keen to maximise our time, so before visiting, we made a list of all the exhibitors that specialised in VW conversions, check their websites and use that information to draw up a priority list of stands to visit. We're here on the Rolling Home stand and I'm really excited because we're about to get in and have a look at our first van of the show, and I think I've already fallen in love with this beautiful oak interior. How nice is this?
Real oak?
Yes, it is indeed real oak. I think this is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Really nice. This brings back memories of the transporter that we borrowed from Sussex Caravans, and that had a pop top. We're very excited to have the pop top roof installed in our transporter, and I've got to say I really love this natural kind of wood interior. I think this is a really, really lovely style choice.
So this van is based on a VW Crafter, so it's much bigger than our van, but it's really interesting to see what possibilities it opens up having a slightly bigger van. Now this one has a really cool layout inside, but it also has a bathroom at the end, a full bathroom in a van. Very, very cool.
By far the most popular layout that we see is the rock and roll bed, but this is a really interesting take on that. So it's got two single seats in the back that fold down into single beds, or you can have a double, and then in the back is the kitchen. But best of all, there's a toilet hidden in this cabinet at the back, and I definitely think that we need a toilet somewhere, somehow, in our conversion. I think there's something really retro and nostalgic about the two-tone vans. I just love them. I wonder if I could convince Mac to respray Big T so he was a two-tone Tony. I don't think Mac would take very much to convince, to be fair.
Just on the CMC Remo stand, and something that caught our eye was this. Now, we won't be able to have this kind of option on our current van because we don't have sliding doors on either side. This van has sliding doors on both sides, and it allows you to swing out a kitchen in this design and have an external kitchen. How cool is that? I guess it could also double up as an exterior bar.
Based on a VW Caddy, which is a slightly smaller van than ours, this is a really interesting layout. It's got this bed that folds down onto rails across the side of the kitchen. It'd be absolutely perfect for a solo adventurer or someone who really, really, really likes their partner. Now, I said this Hembill Go Camper would be perfect for one person, but it's actually got 5 travelling seats. We've been chatting to Hilary at CMC Campers. She is the founder of the company, started it 37 years ago with her husband, and was telling us all about how they set the company up, which was absolutely fascinating. And I was having a chat about our kind of idea of having a U-shaped lounge layout in our transporter, and Hilary told me something really important that we didn't know, and that's that if you have any forward-facing seats in a converted van, they have to have a 3-point seat belt, otherwise they will fail an MOT. So the only way around that is to have the removable box, I guess, at the back to take out, so it doesn't qualify then as a forward-facing seat. So that was a really interesting tip, and it might be also why we probably won't see any U-shaped lounge layouts in any of the camper vans here, which is a shame because I think that is a layout that would really work for us. But she also suggested that we come and give this one a try, because she promised me that this seat was a lot more comfortable than the one that we would have tried before. And she's right, it is. We did have varying advice about this subject, and we really only saw 2 different transporter layouts at the show. There may be a reason for this. More research needed.
So on the Redline stand, this layout really jumped out at us. Quite unique actually. So it has a slight L shape to the cabinetry here. Interestingly, it also has a fridge and a microwave built into the cabinets. You've got upper cabinets here and some cupboards behind. This little L shape just gives it a little bit more interest actually. Quite like that.
Oh. I don't want to break the fridge.
I was doing a nice stylish shot then. You're fumbling with the fridge.
How do we get this open? They've obviously child locked it for idiots like me, so they don't get it broken. I really like this L-shaped layout. I'm quite taken with it. But what would be really interesting is if it would be possible to extend this a little bit further across, because think of all that additional storage space and worktop you'd get.
I guess you'd lose the ability to have a swivel seat like you're sitting on there though, wouldn't you?
That is true.
So that would be a compromise.
I don't think that's something that we would probably need to use very much. I don't think we would swivel the seats very often.
I agree.
So I don't know that that would be a compromise for us. I think that would probably work.
I think the extra storage space would be really, really handy.
Okay, so there's an interactive screen here where you can kind of pick all your colours and stuff and see what it would look like. So let's make some wild choices, shall we?
Okay. Green. Oh, there you go. Stay. There we go. Green. Very nice.
Yeah, I think maybe...
But then if we overlay black... Ooh, look, then you've got that bright lime green edges. Yeah, that's really nice. Choose your flooring. What would go with that? I don't know, maybe a dark colour flooring. Oh, that's what's on there now. Worktop. Let's go for a... Yeah, let's change the worktop colour.
Nice.
Worktop edge. It's got to match, isn't it? There we go.
Wow.
Look at that.
Actually, I quite like that.
Yeah, I don't mind it actually. That's really cool actually, because there must be a myriad, exponential number of options available. So being able to use a configuring tool there, I think that's a really good way of doing it. It helps you kind of visualise what the options might look like.
This beautiful van is by Out and About Campers, who are local to us in Sussex, and it is absolutely beautiful in here. What a gorgeous quality build. And we were just chatting to someone who works at the company, and he was saying that this is the mid-level bougie van. It's not even the highest level of bouge. So it's so beautiful, I can only imagine what the highest level of bouginess looks like. As bougie as this van and many others that we saw were, we are mindful that we don't really need an all-singing, all-dancing conversion, as we have our caravan for that. It's easy sometimes to be convinced that you need more than you actually do. This one also has an external shower. I'm not sure that's something we would use.
Over on the Escape Campers stand, we can see a full layout of a Victron Energy setup for a camper van, and it's really useful. I've looked at lots of these online, but being able to see all the component parts set up here That's really interesting.
Looking at the colour of this seat and this gorgeous, delicious white piping, it really starts to make me think about design choices inside the van, colours, styles and themes and things like that. We found a van with the U-shaped lounge that we are interested in. However, this is in a Fiat Ducato chassis, so it's obviously much, much bigger than our Transporter, but does feel very comfortable. And the reason I love the idea of the U-shaped lounge so much is because, I'm not going to do it here obviously because this is beautiful and clean, you could sit back and put your feet up and just stretch out. And I quite like the idea of that in an evening, sitting around relaxing in the van. Now, we've been interested to look at storage solutions and we haven't seen that much that's caught our eye so far, but this little wall-mounted pocket looks really handy. So it is a conundrum to me though as to how they are able to have that front-facing seat in the rear U-shaped lounge without it falling foul of that MOT issue that Hilary told us about. And I'm wondering if it's because the back of the cab is blocked off from the front. Maybe that has something to do with it. If anyone knows the answer to these questions, please leave them in the comments for us.
Okay, half-time team talk. We've had some lunch and we are refueled ready for this afternoon, but we thought we'd share some thoughts with you of our travels around the show this morning.
It has been really great to get in a whole bunch of different camper vans, see what we like, see what we don't like, and, you know, have a look at some of the different things that we haven't really considered before, like lighting.
Lighting was actually, yeah, you're right. We hadn't thought about lighting at all. We'd all been about all the kind of exciting stuff.
Like layout and pop-tops.
We saw one with funky green lighting inside. That might be a step too far for us. But there was one van that really stood out in terms of style choice, and that was from a firm that are actually local to us in Sussex called Out and About Campers, and that was really nice, wasn't it?
It was. They've made some really, really nice choices in terms of materials and colours and how those all work together, and it looked so nice.
It really did. That was very, very lush.
Now,
There.
I was going to say, that's not to say that the other ones that we've been in weren't nice.
No, not at all.
They've all been really, really nice.
Really high quality, and actually all of the people that we spoke to on the stands were super helpful in terms of talking to us about all of the different options, you know, the kind of conversion options and all that kind of stuff. So actually we've learned quite a lot today as well. There are a couple more stands that we want to see in Hall 20. So now we're refueled, we are ready to head off and check those out.
Let's go. Now, this place is huge. There are 11 halls to explore, and there are maps available so you can find your way around, but we're going to go rogue. We're just going to follow our nose until we find what we're looking for.
One of the exhibitors we were making a beeline for is Knight's Custom, and they've got a couple of vans on display here, and this particular one, the Prestige Plus, is an award-winning van. It's won a couple of awards, as you can see there. It looks really, really cool, and this firm also offer park conversion services as well, so that might be something we're interested in, but we're going to go have a look at this van first. Well, you can kind of see how this was an award-winning van. Inside it's lovely, and you've got this kind of decal on the back wall there as well, which kind of makes you feel like you're out in nature. And I guess you would be out in nature anyway, but this is a really interesting choice. Top cabinets here, they are very nice, really
give you lots
good
of extra
quality.
storage room, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They give you lots of storage actually. And they're all really nicely, solidly built, I can tell that. Yeah, this is really nice. Very comfy chairs as well.
Really nice decal up on the roof.
Yeah, the Wild Tracks logo. This is a really nice van actually. The colour scheme in here is beautiful, and I'm really taken with this idea of a top-loading fridge. I think they save a lot of space in terms of like a forward opening cabinet, but also when the bed is out you can still get to the fridge and reach for a beer. These are a nifty idea, and the chap on the stand was just saying that they make good use of the space around the wheel arch, so the fridge kind of sits on top but the compressor goes down in front of it, so that awkward space that might be difficult to utilise, this top-loading fridge does a great job of that. Very, very cool.
And I also really like you're saying, the colourway here of the light wood with the white cabinet.
Yeah.
I think it really gives a feeling of space, doesn't it?
And it all feels really bright as well, you know, it kind of feels open. So yeah, this is a really nice one actually. Very taken with this.
And what is between your feet?
Oh, there's a toilet hidden underneath there. So that was one of the things that we were keen to try and find out, wasn't it? How do you hide a toilet in a van this size? Well, the answer is here in this particular van. Yeah, very nice. Although, I think we might want to be like, could you nip out while I use the toilet?
Or put it in the awning, maybe.
Or put it in the awning. Yeah, that's a good shout.
I mean,
actually,
I love
yeah.
you, but I'm not. That's a bit too close for comfort, isn't it?
It might be. There's more surprises around here. So on the back of the seat is the table, so that's secured away nice and safely. And there's rear access to some lockers here and a really good amount of short storage space and
a shower.
a shower. Well, that has been a fantastic day and has given us lots of food for thought. We've seen all of the exhibitors that we wanted to see today, and now we're going to need to kind of form a plan for what we want to come and see tomorrow.
We've walked our little legs off today, so all that is left now is to head to the hotel, check in, grab some dinner, and figure out what the plan is for tomorrow. So we will see you in the morning.
Well, our feet are refreshed and we are ready to hit the halls for day 2.
We've got some questions following everything that we looked at yesterday, and there are a couple of companies that we have in mind to help us answer some of those questions.
Yesterday at the show we had a look at a lot of camper vans that were already converted, and there were lots of expert conversion companies here. One of our options is to do a self-build conversion, and we found one stand here who specialise in all of the components that you need for your self-build conversion, focusing on electrics and plumbing and all those kinds of things. So I've just had a fantastic chat with Ben, and he really helped me make sense of all of the different options, particularly the dark art of electrics and all those kinds of things, all those different numbers, what they all mean. So it's been a really useful chat, and they're going to work up a little bit of a quote for us for what a package would look like if we chose to do a self-build. So that would have been a really, really useful conversation to help us kind of weigh up our different options.
Outerland Supplies have put together complete bundles of everything you need for electrics and plumbing, with variations on size and features, which makes choosing everything you need really easy.
Well, we may not have filmed much this morning, but we sure have achieved a whole ton. It's not just about the fun side of the conversion, there are also some of the more practical aspects that we need to consider. So we stopped by the Motorhome Direct insurance stand, had a really good chat there with Rob, who talked us through all of the insurance options, because one thing that really occurred to us was that we need to make sure that the van is adequately insured, not only during the conversion process, but also after it's converted. And so we're interested to explore a policy, an insurance policy that will make sure we're fully covered. And also the beauty of having a converted campervan insurance means that all of your personal possessions, which would be of a higher value than you would normally have in a car, would also be covered.
We would have loved to see more self-build or exhibitors that cater for conversions on a budget, but we appreciate this may not be the show for that. So if you have any recommendations of self-build shows, please let us know.
I've got to say, Hillside Leisure have to win points for the best stand. It's all designed like a 1950s diner and gas station, and I absolutely love it, and I wish it was real and I could go and order some fries and a burger and a shake from the diner.
So So we've been looking for some clever storage ideas, and I really like these kind of open shelves with the elasticated kind of strings across the front. You can kind of put all sorts of things in here, and I'd be tempted to have, you know, packing cubes that you could put clothes in and things like that. You could just shove them in there and just pull them out as you need them. And I guess this also cuts down on weight. Is it going to sound silly for me to say that £69,999 sounds reasonable for this? It's an awful lot of money, isn't it? But actually, for what you're getting there, that kind of rugged off-roady type vehicle, that's a pretty good price.
We've made our way over to the awnings section because we've been thinking about drive-away awnings versus wind-out awnings, and this one here from Isabella is sides from Isabella on a Thule wind-out awning, so kind of the best of both worlds. Quite like this. Now I thought I liked the other awning, but we've just come around the other side of the van and they've got the air extension, which is a drive-away awning, and I think I like this one even more potentially. It is an air awning from Isabella, and this is really nice. It gives a really nice feeling of space and probably just the right amount of space for a drive-away awning.
Was just talking to a really helpful chap from Atwells, and he told us something about these awnings which is really, really interesting actually. So when you buy it, you buy the tunnel specific to your vehicle. So if you've got a crafter like this, you buy this tunnel, and if you've got a transporter like the other one we were looking at, you buy a lower tunnel, and then they zip onto the actual awning itself. Now that also makes it easier for pitching because you put the tunnel into the awning rail directly with no fixing kit required, and then you sight that, you then inflate your awning, position it and zip it onto the tunnel. How easy is that?
One drive-away awning that we've seen before and have been quite taken with is the Van Gogh Versos, and what makes that unique is that there is a fixed canopy position, but the tunnel moves, and you can put it on either one of the other sides of the I can't explain it. It sounds really complicated. It's not. But basically, there's a canopy, there's the tunnel that attaches to the van, and then there's a separate bedroom pod. The canopy is in a fixed position, but you can move the tunnel and you can put the bedroom on any one of the other 3 locations. So it basically works no matter what the pitch setup you have and no matter where you want to have each part of it. So it seems like a really versatile solution. Taking the weight off my feet sitting in this gorgeous Death Lefts van. Obviously we're not in the market, but I have a very special spot for Death Lefts. Our first motorhome was a left-hand drive Death Lefts. We called him Lefty, so it's kind of nice. It feels very familiar to be back in a Death Lefts. I heart my Death Lefts kitchen. That's cute.
Well, we are now back at our hotel, so we thought we'd give you a little bit of a wrap up of our findings from the 2 days exploring around the NEC.
And what a great 2 days we've had. It's been fantastic to get in and out of as many vans as possible, see and speak to a whole load of people. I think for me, one of the key takeaways has been the layout and looking at vans, you know, and seeing the various different layout options.
That is so key. Like, layout is everything, isn't it?
It is absolutely everything. I think what I haven't seen is the layout that I think in my head would work best for how we like to spend our time, and that's the U-shaped layout. So although this has been really helpful, until I get in one of those vans and see what that feels like and what the space is like, I just don't think I can get that out of my head that that is the right layout of van for us. So
yeah, and there is a dealer or a conversion specialist that we know of called Seaside Campers that we might go and have a look at. So maybe that's the way to do that.
yes, and they do self-build kits, don't they?
They do.
I think.
Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
do.
it might be quite interesting.
But that whole question between kind of sending it off for a full conversion, part conversion, fully self-build, that is something that's been really interesting to consider. We've spoken to a couple of people on stands this week, CMC and Knights Customs, who both do like part conversions, so you can talk to them about sending your van to them to do part of the build. And of course there are loads of providers who do a full conversion service, and my goodness, some of those were beautiful,
Lovely,
really, really nice, and all of them seem to be of a really high standard. So that's going to be something that we need to think about, like what's right for us. And honestly, being really candid, budget may be a determining factor there as well. So we may end up with like a blended version, part conversion.
We get some of the more complicated work that we definitely could not do ourselves done, and then perhaps we could do some of the other elements of the build, which might be quite fun.
It might be quite fun, and it's given us lots to think about. So if you have any tips and tricks, particularly around the U-shaped layout, if you have any experience with that yourselves, we would love to hear from you, how you feel kind of living in the space, and any sort of pointers for us. We'd love to hear them. So please leave them in the comments below.
And if you've done a self-build on your van, we'd love to hear about that as well.
Yeah, we really keen. It's quite a daunting prospect, but really, really exciting. And talking to everybody that we've spoken to this weekend has kind of made us feel like, yeah, we can totally do this.
We can totally do this.
Also, like being in the vans and getting a sense for the space helps us also understand that even though the Transporter is a small vehicle, it will be kind of just right for our needs. So we hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please leave us a comment, as we say, below. We reply to all comments, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.